the Viking wood treatment that modern builders ignore, and, well, pay the price for. Wooden structures from the Viking Age are still standing after nearly 1,000 years, not preserved in museums, not sealed behind glass. They're out in the open, battered by wind, rain, snow, salt air, and, time itself. Wood was life in the Viking world. For the Vikings, wood wasn't just a building material. It was survival itself. Ships, homes, tools, weapons, storage chests, animal pens, even roads were made from timber. In a landscape with limited stone and brutal weather, wood had to last. Failure wasn't an inconvenience. It was a death sentence. But the real secret wasn't just the type of wood. It was how they prepared it before it ever became a building. Then came seasoning, but not the rushed, kiln-dried version we rely on today. Viking wood was air-dried slowly, sometimes for years. This gradual process reduced internal stress, prevented cracking, and stabilized the timber long before it was used. So, fire was not always seen as a threat by the Vikings. In fact, they intentionally burned their wood. It was a deliberate and controlled process, turning fire into a valuable tool rather than something to be feared. Interestingly, modern science now confirms what Viking builders already understood centuries ago. Charred wood, it absorbs less water, resists biological attack, and lasts significantly longer when it's in contact with the ground. That's actually why archaeologists have discovered charred Viking fence posts and building foundations still intact after so many years. But, charring wasn't the only line of defence the Vikings used for their wood. There were other treatments and clever building designs in play as well. They didn't assume wood should be sealed forever. Instead, they assumed it would get wet, and planned accordingly. Buildings were raised just slightly off the ground. Roofs had generous overhangs, and walls were built to shed water quickly. Moisture was guided away instead of being trapped inside. So, why did we stop? Today, researchers studying ancient Scandinavian buildings keep reaching the same conclusion. The science has, in many ways, caught up to the Vikings. The Viking approach wasn't about perfection. It was about resilience. And honestly, that mindset is the real takeaway. Why this knowledge still matters. This isn't about going back to the past for nostalgia's sake. The forgotten fire still burns. The next time you see a sleek modern building wrapped in layers of plastic and chemicals, just remember this. A Viking with an axe, fire and patience built something meant to last longer than empires. If you enjoyed uncovering this forgotten piece of practical history, make sure you subscribe to Before Modern Times. Like the video if it sparked a new way of thinking. Share it with someone who appreciates real-world ingenuity. And, stay with us as we keep digging up the skills, strategies and secrets that shaped human survival long before modern shortcuts existed. Because the past isn't dead, it's just waiting to be remembered.